Breaking news from WRAL. Coverage you can count on.
Breaking news, Raleigh police officer hurt an SUV slamming into the back of a Raleigh police squad car on I-440. What we know about the injuries to the officer and the other driver.
And our next two weather makers, there will be a front that comes through in the next day or so that brings us some really chilly air toward the end of the week. And we're watching a tropical wave, letting you know if it may turn northward toward the U.S.
And redistricting fights. State lawmakers will be debating new congressional maps today. The pushback from Democrats as Republicans try to pick up another seat in 2026. It's 8 o'clock on your Monday morning. So glad you're with us here in the 8 o'clock hour on Fox 50. I'm Ken Smith. Let's get right back to meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner in the WRAL Weather Center. Chilly morning, my friend.
It is 49 degrees in the Triangle as we take a live look at the fairgrounds. And it's probably going to be a fairly busy day. Wake County schools are out, and so there may be a lot of kids out there at the fair this morning and this afternoon. 43 in Roxborough, 47 in Southern Pines, 48 in Goldsboro and Rocky Mount. So it's cool out there right now, running 5 to 15 degrees cooler than it was this time yesterday. Our hour-by-hour wind gusts, we're going to see some gusty winds, 15 to 20, especially around the middle of the day into the early afternoon. And we'll warm up to 71 degrees. We do have more chilly air in our forecast once tomorrow night's front comes through. I'll show you what that will feel like coming up. Chris?
Elizabeth, happening now in the WRAL traffic center. This crash we're following on I-85 heading from Hillsborough toward Durham. It is causing quite the backup there all the way toward parts of western Orange County near Eflin. Now, if you can get onto Highway 70, it's probably your best bet to get around this. Although the delay time has shrunk a little bit. Just a few minutes ago, it was a 23-minute delay into Durham. Now it's a 17-minute delay, but still enough to make you late. Meanwhile, if you're coming in from North Carolina 50 into Durham, that's an 8-minute delay. No other major delays heading into downtown Durham. Now, in terms of other crashes we've been following, the one at I-87 at Edgemont Road, that is since cleared, but you see the residual backups farther to the east into areas like Zebulon, and we'll give you a live look at that camera. This is I-87 at Arundel Avenue, which is still fairly bumper to bumper. It is moving a little bit more than it was just about 10 to 20 minutes ago, but those residual backups definitely having an impact on traffic there. And the other crash that we were telling you about that was at the 40-95 split in Johnston County near Benson, that has also cleared as well. As you see there on the right-hand side of the screen, you can listen to us anywhere on the go, 101.5 HD3 on the radio.
Chris, thanks. Back to that breaking news now. Raleigh police officer hurt after an SUV crashed into the back of that officer's squad car. This happened around midnight on I-440 near Glenwood Avenue. Let's get right to Ali Cadlebar live outside the Raleigh Police Department in the WRAL breaking news track. And Ali, we just learned some new information in the last 5 minutes.
Ken, we've learned that the driver involved in this crash is facing several charges, including a DWI charge. We want to take you to this scene earlier this morning. This is video from the WRAL breaking news tracker. It's on I-440 East near Glenwood Avenue. We know from Raleigh police that an officer was responding to a crash, an initial crash around 11 last night. Shortly after, about an hour later, an SUV hit the back of the Raleigh police officer's cruiser. Both were taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. They're expected to be okay. But listen to this broadcastify radio traffic of the moments first responders had to pull that officer out of the car.
All right, we need access to the cop car. We're getting him out now.
Headquarters copy. Extricating him out of the cop car currently.
We know at this time, just within the past 5 minutes, that the officer has returned home. Now, the driver, Jacques Gashumba, he is still in the hospital receiving treatment. Again, facing charges, DWI, failure to move over, and open container. We're going to keep you updated on this story. Reporting live in Raleigh, Ali Cadlebar, WRAL News.
Lawmakers will return to Raleigh today to debate new congressional districts ahead of the 2026 midterm elections. The state Senate's Elections Committee meets this morning to debate a map that would favor Republicans in the 11 of 14 state congressional districts. The state's current district favors 10 Republicans. They say they're doing it to advance President Trump's agenda. Democrats have accused the GOP of abusing their power, but state law would prevent Democratic Governor Josh Stein from vetoing the new districts. For more in-depth in-depth coverage of this redistricting effort, go to the NC Capital section of WRAL.com. Today, students will return to the classroom more than 14 months after a tornado heavily damaged their school. The tornado hit Springfield Middle School in Wilson County last August. WRAL's Monica Casey reports on this long road to recovery.
After months of work, students here at Springfield Middle School will get back in their classrooms. These repairs were completed months ahead of schedule. Take a look at this video of the damage from that EF3 tornado last August. Parts of the roof of that building were torn off, and the school says the 6th and 7th grade wings had to be rebuilt. Classes have been held in the auditorium and media center, along with temporary mobile units. One person also died in that tornado last year. School officials say this reopening is a testament to the resilience of this community. Reporting in Wilson County, Monica Casey, WRAL News.
Well, the state insurance commissioner is expected to be back at the Outer Banks today. This after yet another home collapsed into the ocean in Buxton over the weekend. This is the 10th one this year. Our WRAL Breaking News tracker on the Outer Banks captured this video of crews working to clear debris from the home over the weekend. You can see some wood and belongings from inside that house along the beach and in the surf. We're working to get more information on the collapse and the cleanup. As we mentioned, State Insurance Commissioner Mike Causey will be along the Outer Banks this morning. He's expected to hold a news conference around 11 o'clock to talk about the current regulations and what options exist for homeowners. 22 privately owned homes have collapsed on North Carolina beaches since 2020. Happening today, Governor Josh Stein will join forces with business leaders to talk about the future of manufacturing. Axios will host the leaders, policymakers, and business executives. The event will feature discussions on the rapid innovation in technology and how AI is transforming manufacturing. It takes place this evening from 5:30 to 7:30 at Union Station in Raleigh. Crews are expected to begin work on a part of the Benson Road in Garner for bridge work. State DOT says contractors will be working on a new bridge that will run over US 70. That section will be shut down every night this week starting at 10 p.m. So make sure you keep that in mind. Now, weather permitting, DOT expects the work to be completed by Saturday. Drivers are encouraged to pay close attention to the detour signs that are in place. And another heads up for drivers in Orange County. State DOT contractors closed an off-ramp along Interstate 40 for 3 weeks for construction. It's the exit 261 off-ramp from I-40 East to Old State Road Highway 26. That off-ramp is scheduled to reopen November 10th. Detours are posted. You can get more information at drivenc.gov. Today, we'll be looking for an update on Carolina Panthers quarterback Bryce Young. Young was hurt in the third quarter of Sunday's win against the New York Jets. He was out for the rest of the game. You see it right there on the screen. Head coach Dave Canales says Young hurt his right ankle. He said doctors would be able to give a better analysis of the injury once the team returned to Charlotte. Canales is set to address the media this afternoon around 1:30. It was quite the San Francisco treat for the 49ers against the Falcons on Sunday Night Football. Atlanta was on the road out west and struggled to get the offense rolling. And 2 touchdowns from star running back Christian McCaffrey helped propel the San Francisco 49ers to a primetime win. The 49ers beat the Falcons 20-10. They hit the road next week to take on the Houston Texans. 2 Monday Night Football matchups tonight. The Buccaneers will take on the Lions in Detroit at 7 p.m. and the Texans will be playing the Seahawks in Seattle at 10 p.m. Both of those games on ESPN. All right, I want to take you outside, give you another look at the North Carolina State Fair. This is a live look. Gates will reopen in less than an hour. Governor Josh Stein and First Lady Anna Stein will be there today. They're touring the fairgrounds, meeting vendors, and sampling all the great food, all in support of North Carolina's agriculture industry. Now, if you're heading to the State Fair today, you can avoid parking and traffic by taking the train. There's a special stop right at the fairgrounds. You can board from the stations in Durham and Cary. Book online using the station code NSF. The special route is running through October 26th, the last day of the State Fair. And while you're at the State Fair, we do encourage you to stop by and visit with our WRAL family. Meteorologists Elizabeth Gardner and Chris Michaels will be there from 10:30 to 11:30 this morning. Then meteorologist Kat Campbell and your Tar Heel traveler, Scott Mason, will be there to greet you at 2 o'clock this afternoon. They'll be there for an hour until 3. Be sure to stop by and just say hi. We do appreciate that. Time now 8:10, road to recovery. A high school football player back at home after collapsing during a game Friday night. The scary moments as his father performed CPR right there on the field. In college application week, fees are being waived for certain North Carolina schools. What you need to know before you hit submit to your top choice.
And our cold front moved out, but it stays breezy behind the front. We'll see some gusts up to 20 miles per hour, but lots of sunshine. More chilly air on the way. I'll show you when coming up. 8:13, it's beautiful at the North Carolina State Fair and all across the viewing area this morning with all that sunshine. Our temperatures are still mainly in the 40s. It's 46 in Holly Springs and 49 in Durham, 48 in Gardner and 47 in Cary, but it's 53 in Goldsboro and 51 in Fayetteville. The sun's been up for a little while, so we'll start to see the temperatures beginning to climb as we get into the 9 o'clock hour. But breezy and cool for today. Again, clear skies, a nice cool start this morning. We'll see a high of 71. Temperatures, this time of year, it's plenty comfortable to get out and exercise almost any time of day. We do have some colder air that comes in toward the end of the week. I'll show you when we could see some patchy frost maybe in parts of the viewing area coming up. Chris?
I'm actually looking forward to that, Elizabeth. Thank you. Happening now in the WRAL Traffic Center. A big backup still on I-85. This is in Hillsborough heading toward Durham. And you see that backup all the way toward Eflin. So if you're trying to get around it, your best bet is to try to get off onto Highway 70. But even that is going to be a challenge. Now up to a 26-minute delay from Hillsborough heading into Durham. We'll check on some other delay times heading into other parts of the triangle coming up in less than 5 minutes.
Chris, thanks. A Cleveland high school football player is recovering at home this morning after suffering a medical emergency at a game Friday night. His father speaking with WRAL about the moment he sprang into action after his son went down. Now, during the game against Southeast Raleigh, wide receiver Chris John Clark went into cardiac arrest after making a catch in the second half. We froze the video so he wouldn't complete it. His parents were in the stands and ran onto the field while the coaches and training staff performed CPR. His father, Chris, told us he even began performing chest compressions on his son. They were eventually able to use an AED to deliver an electric shock to Chris John's chest, restoring his heartbeat.
I've done the CPR and the AED training, probably 6 or 7 times now, not thinking that one day I may have to use this on my own kid. We almost lost our son, and so we just couldn't thank God and thank people that work with him enough.
Listen, Chris John was released from the hospital yesterday, and his family says he even was able to go to church. His father says he has to undergo testing to determine if he will be able to return to the football field. A deadly crash was responsible for an hours-long traffic jam from near Durham over the weekend. You remember this. The crash happened around 4:45 yesterday morning on I-40 near Page Road. If you were tuning into our weekend morning news, you saw this firsthand. That caused the westbound lanes to be shut down until around 11 o'clock Sunday morning. Police say 24-year-old.
As you get into your car, tune to WRAL News Plus on your radio. In Raleigh on 99.3 FM. In Durham, 96.5 FM. And everywhere on 101.5 HD3.
Good morning at 8:26. I'm Ken Smith. Let's get right over to meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner in the WRAL Weather Center so you would know what to do if you're getting ready to head out the door.
It's crisp and cool out there, so definitely want to grab a jacket first thing. 49 in Durham and Raleigh, 51 in Fayetteville. Love it. We've got the Dorton Arena and the Ferris wheels there all ready for the only Monday of the State Fair. Our dog walking forecast this morning is comfortable. We'll see mid-60s at noon with a high of 71 this afternoon under sunny skies. Chris?
Lots of sunshine out there right now. Still keeping an eye, however, on this crash. This is I-85 heading toward Durham from Hillsborough, and it's now down to about a 14-minute delay. At one point, it was causing a delay near 26 to 28 minutes. So hopefully that's a sign of improvement, but you do see the backups that last all the way back toward Eflin and the western part of Orange County. We'll take a look at some other slowdowns in other parts of the triangle. That's at 101.5 HD3 on the radio and over on Fox 50 in about 3 minutes.
A Raleigh police officer ended up in the hospital this morning after an SUV crashed into the back of the officer's squad car. This happened just after midnight at I-440 and Glenwood Avenue. The driver of the SUV was also taken to a Wake County area hospital. He is facing charges, including DWI. State lawmakers will be debating new congressional maps today. The new Republican proposal will give the GOP one extra seat in next year's midterm elections. Republicans say this map helps advance President Trump's agenda. Democrats are calling it an abuse of power. Next on Fox 50, a middle school reopening in Wilson County after it was damaged in a tornado last year. And coming up on Today, one-on-one with Oscar Isaac as he takes on Netflix's Frankenstein.
Now, breaking news from WRAL. Coverage you can count on.
We continue to follow this crash with a big backup on I-85 near Hillsborough. We'll show you how to get around that if you plan on heading toward Durham this morning.
Officer Hurd, a Raleigh police officer, now out of the hospital after an SUV slammed into the officer's cruiser. What we're now learning about that driver and the injuries.
And last night's front has moved on by. We're looking at a gorgeous day across our area, including at the State Fair, where temperatures will be in the low 70s. Some colder air coming later in the week. I'll show you that.
And back to class. A Wilson County school devastated by a tornado last year reopens today. The repairs completed months ahead of schedule. And all the students are really glad to be back in that school in Wilson County. Glad you're with us here at 8:30. I'm Ken Smith. Let's get right back to meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner in the WSB Weather Center, tracking how our day is going to shape up, especially if you're headed to the State Fair.
It's going to be another gorgeous one, looking at lots of sunshine right now as we take a look over mainly the kiddie rides, which could be pretty busy today. Wake County schools are out. That may be the place to be later on today. 49 is our temperature with sunny skies. It's 45 in Roxborough, 48 in Rocky Mount. It's 51 in Goldsboro and Fayetteville, 47 in Southern Pines. Temperatures this morning are running about 5 to 15 degrees cooler than this time yesterday. Our winds will be a little bit blustery too. We're looking at some gusts up to around 20 miles per hour through the afternoon. Hour by hour forecast, it's going to be on the cool side, especially with the wind. I would recommend, a sweatshirt or a light jacket. We'll see a high of 71, and our evening temperatures cool back down into the 50s by around 8 o'clock. By the time we get to the end of the week, temperatures could be even cooler. We'll take a look at that coming up. Chris?
And Elizabeth, happening now in the traffic center. This is what we just brought to you at the top of the half hour here. This crash on I-85 in Hillsborough. Check out how far back the backups are. This is past Eflin, really toward the Orange and Alamance, county line. So really very tough to get around it. If you can manage to sneak onto Highway 70, that'll be your best bet. But even that north of Hillsborough is showing some delays. Again, this is heading toward Durham. If you're heading from Chapel Hill, you're probably not noticing any significant backups in the southern part of Orange County. Meanwhile, in terms of our drive times, delay times up to 21 minutes coming in from Hillsborough, whereas other delay times heading into Durham look to be pretty minimal so far this morning. This camera, I-87 at Edgemont Road, it did have a crash about an hour and a half ago that has since cleared, but there are a lot of backups extending into the eastern part of Wake County toward Zebulon, toward Rendell Avenue, places like that. So your best bet is to try and get off of Highway 97 if you're in a rush to get around that. We've got more details, more updates anytime on 101.5 HD3.
Chris, thanks. Getting back to that breaking news, in the last half hour, we've learned a Raleigh police officer is out of the hospital after someone crashed into the back of that officer's cruiser. This happened on I-440 and Glenwood Avenue. Let's get right to WRAL's Ali Cadlabar, live outside the Raleigh police station this morning. Ali, we've also learned more about the driver who hit that cruiser.
That driver is facing multiple charges, Ken, including a DWI charge. He crashed into a police cruiser like this one, injuring both himself and the officer. We want to take you to that scene earlier this morning. This is video from the WRAL breaking news tracker. You can see the debris and badly damaged vehicles. This is on I-440 East near Glenwood Avenue. The Raleigh police officer responded to a crash there around 11 p.m. During that crash investigation, 57-year-old Jacques Kashumba did not move over. He crashed his SUV in the back of the police cruiser. Listen to this broadcastify radio traffic of the moment officers realized one of their own was hurt.
I think it's an officer involved. One trauma, As of right now, the police officer is also going to be a trauma, so it's going to be 2 total traumas. Medical is taking the first patient that is already out of the vehicle.
Now, both were taken to the hospital. The officer is out of the hospital this morning. Gashumba is still getting treatment for his injuries. He's facing multiple charges, a DWI charge, as well as open container and failure to move over. We're going to continue following this story. Reporting live in Raleigh, Ali Kadlawar, WRAL News.
Lawmakers return to Raleigh today to debate new congressional districts ahead of the 2026 midterm elections. The state Senate's Elections Committee meets this morning to debate the map that would favor Republicans in 11 of the state's 14 congressional districts. The state's current congressional districts favor 10 Republicans. They say they're doing it to advance President Trump's agenda. Democrats have accused the GOP of abusing their power, but state law would prohibit Democratic Governor Josh Stein from vetoing the new districts.
Polls have kind of projected that Democrats were likely to take back control of the House in 2026, and Trump knows that. So he's been pushing Republican states like North Carolina to do whatever they can to redraw their maps, to take out Democrats, to, help Republicans keep control in next year's midterm election.
Now, for our in-depth coverage of this redistricting effort, go to the NC Capitol section of WRAL.com. Happening today, a Wilson County Middle School welcoming students back for the first time in over a year. Part of Springfield Middle was destroyed by an EF3 tornado on August 8th of last year. This is video of the aftermath. You see it right here. WRAL's Monica Casey explains the repairs made that would lead to reopening months ahead of schedule.
After months of work, students here at Springfield Middle School will get back in their classrooms. These repairs were completed months ahead of schedule. Take a look at this video of the damage from that EF3 tornado last August. Parts of the roof of that building were torn off, and the school says the 6th and 7th grade wings had to be rebuilt. Classes have been held in the auditorium and media center, along with temporary mobile units. One person also died in that tornado last year. School officials say this reopening is a testament to the resilience of this community. Reporting in Wilson County, Monica Casey, WRAL News.
A global web outage affected many major websites this morning. It appears to be mostly fixed. Amazon Web Services says its global services and features have recovered. The outage was first reported around 3 o'clock this morning, our time. Most websites were back up and running by around 6 o'clock this morning. Amazon says it has identified the cause of the problem. We'll let you know as soon as we find out a little bit more. Governor Josh Stein, First Lady Anna Stein will be out at the State Fair today. They'll tour the fairgrounds, meet vendors, and sample food in support of North Carolina's agriculture industry. They plan to be there around 3 o'clock this afternoon. And you should make plans to stop by the WRAL tent and visit the WRAL family while you're out at the State Fair. Meteorologists Elizabeth Gardner and Chris Michaels will be there from 10:30 to 11:30 this morning. And meteorologist Kat Campbell and your Tar Heel traveler, Scott Mason, will greet you around 2 o'clock this afternoon. They'll be there for an hour until 3. Be sure to stop by and just say hi. We really do appreciate that. Happening today, civil rights leader William Barber and others plan to pray in outside Senator Ted Budd's office. That's on Fayetteville Street in Raleigh. Reverend Barber says he wants to draw attention to Medicaid protections that could be on the federal chopping block. Reverend Barber also plans to address federal furloughs, pay delays because of the shutdown, and deportation tactics.
Time is 8:37 here in the WRAL Live Center. Like something that sounds like a Netflix film. We've been talking about this, right? That heist at the Louvre in Paris. Well, look at this video that we just got into the feeds maybe 10 or so minutes ago. This is the angle grinder that was used, investigators say, in the heist where those priceless jewels were stolen from the Louvre. Investigators said it only took about minutes to pull off, but you'll see these investigators here picking it up. And at one point, they say that the 4 people that managed to make it out with these jewels, they managed to threaten at one point the guards with these angle grinders. Now, again, just 4 people in that particular case, but there are more people reportedly involved. But you hear all this, the stolen jewels, and now you see this piece of equipment that's been found. Ken, it sounds like, again, something out of a Netflix movie. I wager we're probably going to see something called Looting the Louvre or something like that pop up on some kind of streaming service.
Listen, from from your lips to Hollywood. I'm sure that's in the works right now. So listen, we want to talk about Republican Senator Norman Anderson. He was arrested because he was accused of driving while drunk. Sanderson represents the 2nd District, including Pamlico and Halifax counties, among others. He was taken into custody Saturday night in Raleigh. According to the arrest warrant, a trooper stopped Anderson around 8 o'clock. Investigators say he failed to follow a traffic direction at Edwards Mill and Trinity Roads. Troopers say his blood alcohol content level was twice the legal limit. The 74-year-old lawmaker released a statement about the arrest, saying in part, "I made a regrettable mistake and I take responsibility for my actions. I want to apologize to my constituents, my colleagues, and my family for letting them down." Sanderson also faces misdemeanor charges of failure to obey a traffic officer and transporting an open container of alcohol. He'll be back in court November 7th. Vice President J.D. Vance says he and another administration official will likely head to Israel soon. This comes as President Trump says the ceasefire in Gaza is holding. That's despite reports of dozens of people being killed during fighting between Hamas and Israel over the weekend. Gaza Hospital says more than 40 people died in the airstrikes. A senior Israeli official says humanitarian aid and shipments to Gaza will continue today after a brief pause yesterday. Well, today, voting rights advocates will head to court for a trial with election implications. State voting rights groups are suing the state legislature over a law passed in 2023 that made changes to elections. Conservatives say the law helps improve trust in elections. The Southern Coalition for Social Justice and other civil rights groups disagree. They say it's intentionally written to make it more difficult to register to vote. They also claim the law makes it easier for legitimate ballots to be thrown into the trash. Today's trial starts at 2 o'clock in Winston-Salem. There are more details on our website, WRAL.com. Tonight we'll learn who will play the Los Angeles Dodgers in this year's World Series. The Toronto Blue Jays and Seattle Mariners will play Game 7 of the American League Championship Series tonight. The Blue Jays forced a Game 7 with a 6-2 win over in Game 6. First pitch for Game 7 tonight, 8:08, right here on Fox 50. And remember, Fox 50 is also your home for the World Series. Game 1 of the World Series is set for Friday night. WRAL is your home for the return of the NBA on NBC. The NBA season will tip off right on WRAL tomorrow night. The Rockets host the Thunder, then the Golden State Warriors play the Los Angeles Lakers. Coverage begins at 7 p.m. And be sure to tune in to the Today Show for special pregame coverage. Watch the WRAL Morning News and Today, all for your NBA back on NBC coverage. All right. We're moving on now. Phone bill fight. Imagine still getting a phone bill for a service you can't even use. 5 on Your Side helped one local woman finally get Verizon to listen, and what she learned could save you some headache. AI content protection. Meta is introducing new features to help keep kids safe. How the update gives parents more control. Head outside now. Is this weather whiplash or what? The cold front, number 1, has moved through, and a second isn't far away as we look live at Clinton this morning. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner explains how many more mornings you'll need to grab a jacket or a puffy coat, whatever suits your fancy.
8:45, it's certainly a beautiful morning. All the cameras showing beautiful blue skies. This, of course, is a look through downtown Apex, down Salem Street, looking beautiful there. Temperatures started off this morning in the mid-40s. You're starting to warm up a little bit. It's 47 in Holly Springs, 49 now in Durham, 51 in Fayetteville, 48 Cary, 53 in Goldsboro. We're about to, of course, turn the clock over to 9 o'clock, and we'll start to see some of those temperatures creep it up a little bit. It's going to be a bit breezy this afternoon. Winds will gust 15 to 20 miles per hour out of the northwest this afternoon. Wake County kids are out of school. If you're looking for something to do with the kids, it's going to be comfortable through lunchtime. 9 o'clock, 55 degrees. At 1 o'clock, 67. It may be a light jacket, but we'll see lots of sunshine for it today. Chris?
Elizabeth, now major delays coming into Durham from Hillsborough. This has spiked to about a 44-minute delay due to the crash that we've been following over the course of the morning. So definitely try and find an escape route from that on Highway 70, although even that is a challenge. It is still pretty congested there. I-40 at Lake Wheeler, not due to a crash. It's just the normal congestion of the morning as you're looking toward exit 295 there. But heading into downtown Raleigh, no major delays as of 8:46 this morning.
Chris, thanks. Listen, a local woman thought she canceled her husband's Verizon phone bill, but the bills kept coming for nearly 2 years. Frustrated and facing debt collectors, she called 5 on Your Side for help.
Suzanne Markham's husband is living with Alzheimer's, and as his condition worsened, she began to take over the family's finances, including phone bills. She says she called Verizon to cancel his line and was told it was taken care of, but the bills didn't stop, even after months of calls, emails, and letters.
It was just really aggravating that no one could figure out what the problem was until it got escalated to the point where Keeley had to get involved.
After 5 on Your Side got involved, Suzanne was told she needed a power of attorney in order to cancel the phone bill. Coming up tonight on WRAL News at 6, we press Verizon and ask if she had been told that earlier and what they train their employees to say. Keeley Arthur, 5 on Your Side.
Well, we're days away from the federal government shutdown entering its 3rd week. Many federal agencies are taking hits. For example, the agency in charge of overseeing the country's nuclear stockpile will furlough most of its staff. That's happening today. A spokesperson says about 1,400 workers at the National Nuclear Security Administration will receive notices. Fewer than 400 workers will stay on the job. The agency has never furloughed its workers before. Now, sources say despite this, there's not a national security threat. Meta giving parents more control over AI content that may be inappropriate for kids. The company is adding a feature to allow parents to block chats that they don't want their children engaging in. They will be able to see the chats their child is having without completely disabling all AI access. Meta says their chatbots are trained not to have discussions with minors on topics of self-harm, eating disorders, or suicide. Some previous reports suggest otherwise, though. The new feature will be on Instagram early next year. Southwest Airlines launching a new boarding system. It's called WILMA. That's an acronym for Windows, Middle, and Aisles. That's the order in which passengers will be seated. The airline has tested the system for months in some locations. Boarding will start from the back of the aircraft. There will be 2 lines, one for current boarding group and another for the next. The new system begins in January. Well, today, Wake County commissioners are expected to approve the use of an apex road for the Vidaria development. The site is 1,100 acres large. It's near US 1 and I-540. The plan is to develop it into shops, restaurants, hotels, apartments, and office spaces. Up to 8,000 single-family townhomes and multifamily units are part of that plan. Commissioners are expected to a section off part Holly Springs Apex Road to be used as part of the driveway to the development. Today's meeting is at 2 o'clock this afternoon. The ultimate homecoming experience at the North Carolina Central University continues today. This week's events kick off tonight with the crowning of Mr. and Miss NCCU, followed by a gospel concert. That runs from 6 this evening until 8 o'clock at the McDougal McClendon Arena in Durham. You can find out more on the university's website. By the way, that arena is on the campus of NCCU. Now, to catch up on the music and movie news in pop culture, here's David Daniel with today's Hollywood Minute.
She's very troubled. She's running from this insane past.
Brandy is apologizing for a health scare that caused her to abruptly end a weekend show. The performer posted on Instagram she experienced dehydration and feelings of wanting to faint before leaving the stage in Chicago Saturday night to seek medical attention. She thanked her fans for their love, support, and prayers.
He is lost. And he is desperate.
Walton Goggins has joined the cast of the action thriller Painter, according to The Hollywood Reporter. Amber Midthunder stars as a young woman with a particular set of skills who will need those skills to rescue her kidnapped father. Goggins plays the dad in distress. No word when the film is due in theaters.
Chihiro, we're almost there.
The Hayao Miyazaki classic Spirited Away is back in theaters through Wednesday as part of Studio Ghibli Fest 2025. Locations and showtimes at fathomentertainment.com. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
You see behind me a beautiful Carolina blue sky hanging over West Raleigh. Let's get over to meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner in the WRAL Severe Weather Center. You're tracking the big picture and what we can expect moving forward.
So we had a front come through last night. It did wake me up briefly. The wind started to pick up. There's a little bit of light rain. It has been out of here. Look at that. It's way off the coast at this point. High pressure building in behind it is bringing us all the clear skies and all the sunshine out there that we're going to see for several days. This is a live look at the State Fair. Of course, the gates open here in just 10 minutes. And then the rides will start a little bit later this morning. Wake County schools are off today, so there may be a lot of kids running around the State Fair today. Here's a live look at downtown Raleigh, looking at the legislative building. You can see the flags moving around. It's cool out there, and it will be breezy today. So if you're headed outside, doing anything, heading to the fair, just going to be outside for a bit, you might be more comfortable in a light jacket or a windbreaker since it's going to be breezy and cool today. Right now it's 49 with a low dew point at 40, so just crisp and cool out there right now. It's 46 in Roxborough, 52 in Goldsboro, 51 in Fayetteville, 47 in Southern Pines. Around the Triangle, 49 in Cary, Garner and Knightdale, it's 50 in Rollsville, and 47 in Holly Springs. Feels good out there. Low 70s in Durham and Raleigh this afternoon, and 74 in Fayetteville. Tomorrow we're a little bit warmer. Ahead of a front, we're going to end up seeing some warmer temperatures, and then behind it we're cooler. There's last night's front moving on out. High pressure rotating clockwise, bringing us a northwesterly flow today, which is nice and cool. We'll warm up a little bit ahead of this front, but once it moves through, by Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, we turn even cooler than what we're seeing today. So chilly mornings, sweater weather. 49 is our normal low. We'll drop it down to 45 on Thursday morning and then 41 on Friday morning. That's some of the coldest air that we've seen so far this season. And at 41, some of our northern or rural counties could end up with some patchy frost. We'll climb to 77 at the fair tomorrow, so it's a little warmer than today, but we're back down into the low 70s on Wednesday. Heading to the fair today, that high temperature 71, a little bit breezy, so grab a sweatshirt or a jacket, some sunglasses, no umbrella needed. Beautiful view from the mountains. Kelly Tate sent us that from Pond Mountain, which is up in Ashe County. Gorgeous. We're looking at cooler temperatures Thursday, Friday, and Saturday in the upper 60s, and we'll be right back with your top stories.